Bias Project. What is bias? According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, bias is a tendency to believe that some people, ideas, etc. are better than others, and that usually results in treating people unfairly. You can also have a personal bias, and this usually involves a religion, an individual, a race, a social class, or a political party. In my case, it is based on religion. What is a personal bias? According to reference.com, personal bias means that you are prejudiced against someone for a certain reason. You put people into a certain stereotype, and due to your previous experiences with that group or that stereotype, and due to the reason that these may not have been good, you judge a person based on those bad experiences. It is something that humans do on their daily basis. Examples of personal bias. Some people are biased against gays or lesbians. This is usually due that they don't have a good image of what they are. You can also be biased towards fat people, religion, abortion, or even your favorite ice cream flavor. My personal bias. I know that I am religiously biased against Muslims. But why? Ever since I was little, I have been informed of constant terrorist attacks toward the Jewish community in Israel. Every Saturday, I attend a young Zionist group called Anoa Razioni. In the Zionist group, they teach us about our religion and how to be leaders. Here, they also teach us about current events, and even though they do tell us about how sometimes Israel has attacks towards the Arab nations with a big Muslim population, they tell us it is due to protection. But when they tell us about the attacks that are made towards Israel from the Muslims, they tell us that they are just made to hurt us. Also, I remember I was once in a cruise due to a convention of my father's job. In this convention, there was a Muslim, and I asked my dad if he was scared. He answered, "I'm not scared, but I haven't told him I'm a Jew, and even though if I do tell him, he wouldn't hurt us." And then I asked him, "But if he won't hurt us, why don't you tell him you're a Jew?" And he answered, "I don't know." This shows that even though you may know that the person can't harm you, you have reached the point where when you're biased, even if you want to overcome it, it has absorbed you too much. It is like when you say something you didn't want to say. You already said it, and you can't take it back. No matter how many times you say sorry, those words will always be there and always hurt the person you were talking to. Even though you try to eliminate the personal bias you have, there is a point where the point of view you have is part of your everyday life, and it is really hard to change that. What has my bias caused in my life? I think that due to the bias I have missed many opportunities to meet new people or to look of the Muslim perspective. Even though I know that most of the Muslims are nice or don't cause any harm, I'm still scared. And many times when I see someone that could potentially be Muslim, I get scared and try not to get close to them. Now I'm going to show you a video that I think really demonstrates what bias is about and how people can be influenced by the same type of bias that I have.
We're just a little too caught up in the way the world sees us, and the way my people see yours, and the way my people see yours, and the way our people see ourselves. 1996, a Jewish girl was born with the Shabbat candles glistening in her eyes. 1996, a Muslim girl was born with the Adana ringing in her ears. She only knew of her own, of Jumrah, Kabbalah, Shabbat, Nashid, Smirah, Allah, Adonai. She never noticed that Muslim girl holding the same needles and threads that she did. So we filtered generations from stitches and callous palms of their past. Friday prayers, religious songs like God. We are both birthed from resilience, yet raised by assumptions. This tradition. A young Palestinian girl's life ended by Israeli gunfire is worth any more or less than a young Israeli girl's life ended by a Palestinian pipe bomb. This world would rather chew up and spit out our history than help these two girls. That could have been us. This world has devoured our past, but how quickly it forgets. You are what you eat. See, this Jewish girl and this Muslim girl are far more similar than our religions would like us to believe, because I bet you didn't realize that we have the same favorite movie and that we both love hummus. And we keep being asked the same damn questions every time we fall head over heels. Is he a respectable Muslim boy? Jewish boy? Did you meet him at the mosque, synagogue? That little Palestinian girl and that little Israeli girl will never get to be asked these questions, never get to discover whether they have the same favorite movies, whether they were both going to become poets, performing on stages like this one, and we may not have either. And we let the way the world sees us get in our way. We are connected. We are one. Like Adonai, like Allah, like God.
I believe that this video demonstrates how bias can negatively affect people and how I'm not the only person that is affected by this bias. These girls talk about how other people have died because of what their religions make them think, because of how people look at them in a certain way, and many others have suffered due to these reasons. I really like this because it also shows how these two girls were able to overcome what society told them to think about each other. If they wouldn't have done that, they would have never found out that they have the same favorite movie. Or if I keep doing that, maybe I would never find a Muslim girl that maybe shares the same favorite ice cream flavor as I do. By doing what these girls do, you take a step forward to ensure that this bias doesn't negatively affect your relationship with others. In conclusion, bias affects your everyday life, and even though you may not notice, everyone has a personal bias, and you can do many things to try to keep having that bias. But you also can do what the two girls in the video did. You can try to take a step forward and try to change your bias and try to have it positively affect your life. The end.